So in a few days, TikTok is set to be banned. I read something somewhere on CSNBC where it said upward to 2 million people are bound to lose their livelihood once the app is erased. And like, it just kind of like brought me back, like when I heard it. When I heard the stories coming in of all these people, all these content creators saying, yo, if you ban TikTok, you're going to take away my livelihood. Like, this is the way I feed my family. It brought me back to a time and place in my life where I made up in my mind that I refuse to let one person dictate the quality of my life. The fact that so many people relied on a platform that they had no control over for their main source of happiness, their main source of livelihood, their main source to feed their family, to take care of their kids. I just think there's a lot to be said here. And so like it took me back. And it's a moment that sticks out to me. Like this moment really does stick out to me. And so I had joined the military, and when I first got in, I was one of those people. I was like, yo, I could do 20 years. Yeah, I could do this for 20 years. Yeah, you talking about I show up after 20 years, I can retire, give me a check. Oh yeah, like this is who ain't y'all? Go ahead and sign. Y'all might well start calling me Master Chief. Sign me up. But as time started to progress, some things started. I started becoming aware to something, to how life really works. Guys started getting kicked out, right? Like these guys that I had formed close bonds with, and I would call my brother. I would watch them get in trouble. I would watch them make a mistake. I would watch them do something that I would do. That I could see myself doing a million times over, and I would see that the penalty for their error, the penalty for their mistake, was that they were kicked out. And then it kind of dawned on me, like, yo, as much as you say that you want to do 20 years, as much as you say you want to retire here, that's not solely dependent on you. It could just be you get to the wrong place and your boss don't like you. And he makes sure that they get you up out of there. And it started to set in that, yo, I don't have no control over this. And it gave me so much anxiety. It gave me so much of I had unlocked this insight that I never thought about before. The feeling that it made me feel that I could work so hard and I could set my life up based on this income. I could have a wife, I could have kids, a house, a car, and because somebody don't like me, they can snatch that all away from me. And so at 22, 23, it just didn't sit well with my stomach. And I was conscious that, yo, I might be signing myself up for this. Because I had just seen the same thing play out with somebody, an older cat who was in. And where he made a mistake. He was human. He wasn't perfect. And the penalty for him not being perfect, it was snatched away from him. They took his money. They dropped him down in rank. And so as a 30-year-old, now he's making money that a 22-year-old would be making. And seeing that changed my perspective on how I wanted to attack and live the rest of my life. At that moment, I made a promise to myself that, yo, I will not let a single person dictate my livelihood. I will never give the power of my life over to somebody to have control. And we see that so many times. When somebody has the power to change your life, the sacrifices that you will make, the compromises that you have to make with your soul, it happens. And so it takes me back to this whole TikTok situation. There are millions of people who have put this platform as their bread and butter and way to eat and feed their family. And they might disagree with the whole standpoint of why it's being banned. They might be and like, I don't care if it's national security. I don't see it, but it's not up to them. And the choice is being made for them. And so lesson one that I take from this is, you have to be intentional about making sure that you, at the end of the day, have the power to be responsible and accountable for your life. And you have to insulate yourself as good as you can to make sure not one thing alone has the ability to ruin or disrupt your life in such a way that you can't feed your family, that you can't take care of your business, that you can't live the dream that you want to live. And so we call that diversifying. Like, there's this thing that we always say, you have to diversify your portfolio. You just can't put all your money in real estate. You just can't put all your money in one stock. You have to diversify it and put your money in different places, because if for whatever reason this pot of money over here runs out or it's snatched away from me, then I still have these two pots of money that I can lean on. You have to diversify your life. Too many of you guys are just depending on one source. Whoa. That hit a little deeper than I thought it was going to hit. Some of you are depending on one, a person is your source of happiness. A job is your source of happiness. Money is some of you guys' whole identity is tied up in something that you don't even get to control. And it might be working for you right now. Like, you might be in a place of peace, serenity. Like, my life is good. But what I do know about life is that it always has a way of throwing a wrench in your plans. Like, it's not always going to be sweet. There are going to be some moments where you're going to be challenged. There are going to be some moments where you're tested. There are going to be some moments where things don't go your way. So it might be sweet today, but it can get real ugly tomorrow. And that's what we're watching right now. I remember when I was on base one day, and like the junior guys would chill outside the barracks because there was a basketball court like right there. And they just do it as an amenity, a luxury, so you don't have to go far. Like, you have some type of recreation around us. And so we all used to gather, like all the guys and all the women from different ships, we all used to just gather in this park. And we used to, just cook out, play music, play basketball, play spades. Like, we would just be gathering. We would just be communing amongst each other. And I remember one day, there was this dude who seemed to be a little older than us. And I could tell by the way he was dressed that he doesn't really dress like us. Like, he doesn't like have the same type of clothes. He doesn't have his hair isn't in regulation like ours was. And it fastly dawned on me, this guy, he's not in the military. And so as we were talking, he started to talk about, I got kicked out like a year ago. Talked about, I think he was from like Alabama, something like that. And he didn't want to go back because he didn't have anything to go back to. And he was just saying, yo, do the right thing with your money, because it's not easy. And he said, if there's one thing I wish somebody would have told me when I was in your guys' situation, is save something. Like, if you could just save $50 a check, put something to the side for yourself, because you never know what situation you're going to be in tomorrow. And that resonated with me. It really resonated with me, because visibly I'm watching this guy who looks like he's been tormented because of the decisions that he made. In the back of my mind, I can only imagine that at some point this guy was in my shoes. He had money. He was young. He could get whatever he wanted. The check was going to come. Every 1st and 15th, the check was going to come. He didn't have to worry about bread. But out of nowhere, a wrench was thrown in his plans. Out of nowhere, a rain came on his day. And when that rain came, he started to look around and he realized he didn't have anything else to grab. There was no place to grab an umbrella, because he put all his resources out there. He put all of his livelihood in the hands of somebody else. And so I just bring that back around to say, we have to make sure that we diversify our lives. We cannot just depend on one thing for our source, unless that source is the Creator. But it is also scripture that says faith without works is dead, right? Faith without knowledge is dead. Faith without logic is dead. So we have to be faithful, but we also have to be smart. We have to be faithful, but we also have to do the right thing. And so my point isn't to beat a dead horse. And I can only imagine what it feels like to be somebody who is days away from watching their only source of income slip away, especially when we live in a society today where it's more difficult than ever. It's harder than ever to just make a decent income. The average American makes about $50,000 a year. But that also average American says that they believe it takes them $250,000 to survive. And so I say all that to say that there's a learning lesson to be learned here. And they say that wise people learn from the mistakes of others, and smart people learn from their own mistakes. And so in this situation, in this moment, I believe that there is something that we could take from this to add to our wisdom.